WBRC Fox 6 News. First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
Hey, welcome into Weather Extra. We have been enjoying some nice, cool conditions out there. I say it's a pot of chili kind of weather right now, at least during the early mornings, but the afternoons, I know it has been quite toasty. We're going to have some more warm afternoons on the way for this week. I'm Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. Let's get into the next big thing here and talk about what's on the way. And first off, I've been noticing that there's some stormy weather. You know, we talked about this yesterday happening in states back to the west of us, and this may send a few clouds our way. You can see back across Oklahoma, there have been some severe thunderstorm watches. I've seen some warnings out of this, but as this system moves our way, all the precipitation is going to stay west of us. It won't quite reach us, but the clouds certainly could as we look at the evening setup. But showing 79 right now in Jasper, 72 in Coleman, 79 in Anniston. It is going to feel very comfortable again going into this evening. So if you have plans again tonight, not too bad. It's one of those weeks where we're really having to adjust that thermostat quite a bit because we have the cool mornings. However, we get into the afternoon, it's AC weather, and tomorrow and Thursday, again, highs in the mid-80s, which you look at the normal, hey, that's close to where we should be for this time of the year. And it looks like for Friday and Saturday, the warmer afternoons, one of the big stories, but we could see some rain come back early next week. I've had a lot of folks talking about planting and needing a little bit of rainfall. And, you know, the thing about this time of the year is we're getting into one of our drier periods. October on average is our driest month of the year, but this fall has been a bit atypical. I mean, we've had some wet weather this past weekend, and again, it looks like in the early next week we're going to be watching for the chance of showers. Well, commuters in Massachusetts are back on the road after catastrophic flooding last week. Regular train services are back underway actually today after rain and floodwater washed out the ground underneath MBTA tracks. Meanwhile, residents and businesses are still looking for help. City leaders say they are still waiting on federal officials to declare a state of emergency there in that disaster area. The Mississippi River is running low after a very hot summer, and that means that barges are now having to reduce how much they're carrying on the river, and this could bring trouble to the farmers in the Midwest who are getting ready to send corn and soybeans downstream because they'll have to pay more for these vessels to ship their crops.
The challenge that we have here, as well as everywhere else in the country, is the answer is rain, and we don't see rain in the Mississippi Valley. And so we're going to continue to face these challenges. We're going to have to continue to be proactive and work with our locals and our state governments. But until we get rain, we're going to be faced with these kind of situations.
We know all about barge traffic and the waterways around here. Roughly 60% of U.S. grain exports travel down the Mississippi River on barges heading to the Gulf of Mexico. And we'll be back. We're going to be talking more. Again, I mentioned the long range, that chance for wet weather, check on the tropics, and more as we continue right here on Weather Extra. All right, check this one out. Boats at the bottom of Lake Mead, they were actually revealed by a drought in Nevada, and they're now back underwater, though that doesn't mean recovery is complete in the lake. Jacqueline Schultz speaks with a YouTuber who has been studying the rise and fall of the lake.
It's really cool that, you know, they're going underwater, but they're still down there.
The American flag lets boaters know there's a tall secret lurking right under the surface.
It's not, oh my gosh. You're stuck and they're stuck.
This was the scene last summer as lake levels plummeted. The upright boat was quite the bucket list for visitors to see ever since the grisly discovery of a body in a barrel around Hemingway Harbor. The YouTube videos from father and son duo Sin City Outdoors went viral, showing the fall and rise of lake levels and discovery of old vessels like this World War II boat. It's now completely underwater. Thanks to a wet winter and large releases from the Glen Canyon Dam, the lake is 26 feet higher. The progress contrasts a sobering reality. Lake Mead is only 34% full.
Only the future will tell if it's going to continue to rise or drop. Obviously, the lake is still way down from where it once was. So I guess, it's just a waiting game from now on to see what happens.
Water usage and climate change contributes to shrinking levels. From 2000 to 2021, UCLA scientists say warming temps led to the loss of 10 trillion gallons across the Colorado River, which is roughly the size of Lake Mead. Work is being done to maintain what's here. In May, Nevada, Arizona, and California agreed to tough cuts of 1 trillion gallons of water through 2026. Adrian says his videos have raised worldwide awareness of the need for conservation.
We're definitely moving forward in a positive way, and I definitely want to see it.
And the Bureau of Reclamation is trying to figure out how to conserve water past 2026. And stay tuned. We'll have more reports right here on Weather Extra after this short break. Okay, well, it looks like we're going to stay with you right here. So the administrator for FEMA is speaking on Capitol Hill today after a string of devastating disasters from wildfires to hurricanes. FEMA's had its hands full this year, and now Congress is asking tough questions about the agency's response to those disasters, and with some lawmakers floating the idea of cutting FEMA's funding due to being skeptical of the agency's role. FEMA Administrator Dean Criswell pushed back, saying that her only priority is saving lives and property.
Lapse in appropriation for FEMA's disaster relief fund has an impact on everybody across this nation.
President Biden is asking Congress for $12 billion to replenish the disaster relief fund. And coming up right here on Weather Extra after the break, we bring you this week's Moment of Science. We're talking about space dust. What's that all about? And the special light show that was visible to parts of the country last night. Wait until you see some of these scenes as we continue here on Weather Extra.
Okay. Okay. Am I at the top of the B block? Okay. So I'll just be welcoming us back to Weather Extra. Is he going to read the script?
Hey, welcome back into First Alert Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. Well, some of you may have already been firing up the crock pot. I think we need a crock pot forecast, right? With this taste of fall in the forecast, it's certainly been that kind of weather out there. But meteorologist Lauren Linehan decided to take matters into her own hands and travel to Gadsden for a taste of Northeast Alabama. Lauren, have you indulged in some good eating on this Tuesday evening?
Oh, Wes, I feel real bad how much food I've eaten, and knowing y'all are all probably ready for dinner, the Weather Extra crew, but I've probably eaten enough food to last me for 2 weeks. So I know we're talking about fall, but I'm getting ready to hibernate for winter, apparently. But I'm so thankful to be out here at the Taste of Northeast Gadsden. There has been a big crowd tonight. Honestly, a lot of people just left because they had their bellies full, but we will be announcing right at 7 o'clock who won the awards. We've had over 40 vendors here from the Northeast Alabama area. And man, you know, I've been kind of in my bubble in the Birmingham area, but it's so good for the First Alert Weather Team to get out and explore, because let me tell you, the food up in Northeast Alabama, it is hard to beat. So there's going to be 3 awards tonight. The award for Best Appetizer, Best Entree, Best Dessert, and the People's Choice Awards. And I gotta tell you, it is some stiff competition, but this is such a great event. We've had some live music as well playing. The saxophone's been sounding pretty good, but it's been so great to get out and see people. We have a lot of WBRC fans here, and I don't know if you can tell on my shirt, the light may be helping to make it go away, but I, about 5 minutes in, already got food on my shirt. It was actually some chicken Alfredo, but some of the best things I've been tasting this evening has actually been dessert. This is some bread pudding from Kim's Cafe, and so I just want to give you an idea of what it looks like. Very decadent, made with some white chocolate. So, not to brag, but y'all know I had to eat a little food on camera for you, but I'll try to do what I can. If I can find any scraps, I'm going to bring them back for you guys so the Nightside crew can get a little bit of food in this evening. But hey, if you have any events you would love for the WBRC First Alert Weather Team to come out to, whether it be a school visit, we love to judge food events, obviously, but any type of event, we would love to come out and meet the community. I've been telling people who have been coming up to us, you know, it's so nice to actually see people in person, because in the studio, we're just looking into the depths of a gloomy camera. So we love meeting the community out in person. And hey, with a taste of Northeast Gadsden, we've been enjoying this taste of fall in the air. But I'm telling you, Wes, I'm gonna be sleeping good tonight. Live in Gadsden, meteorologist Lauren Linehan, WBRC Fox 6 News on your side.
I bet you will get you one of those pumpkin lattes for the drive back to Birmingham. Carl Sagan once famously said, "We are made of star stuff." And in today's Moment of Science, Dan Smith explores how much space dust is actually floating around you right now.
Last week, we talked about how charged volcanic dust may have had a hand in defeating Napoleon, thanks to messing around in the cloud layer, causing all that rain and mud his troops were stuck in. Let's dust off that subject and, as we're apt to do on this show, put it in space. You may recall our episode on space tasting like raspberries and smelling like rum, though that was a cloud of ethyl formate in the middle of our galaxy. Most space dust is your standard rock, ice, mineral combo like we've seen on the moon, and that wasn't just kicked up by the lunar lander.
Although the moon doesn't have an atmosphere, the Apollo astronauts reported seeing a glow above the horizon. And it turns out that all the dust on the surface of the moon gets charged by the same amount in the same polarity, and it lifts up off the surface.
Dr. Matthew Genge spends much of his time looking at dust, from the rooftops of London to the frozen scapes of Antarctica. Cosmic dust usually means any particle smaller than a grain of sand, and there's a lot of it to go around on our home planet.
We get about 10,000 tons of dust from space every year. So right now, you will have an extraterrestrial dust particle within about 2 feet of you. You might even have some on your clothes.
You might think that's all from asteroids burning up in Earth's atmosphere, but that 10,000 ton stat isn't even counting those more intact examples.
That dust is coming mainly from when asteroids collide with each other. They produce lots of dust, or when comets come through the solar system.
A recent study even suggests that Mars might be the culprit here, with NASA's Juno spacecraft detecting particles slamming into it at over 10,000 miles an hour as it traveled from Earth to Jupiter. Though much farther from us, everything from exploding stars to black holes can send enough material shooting out into the cosmos. As a result, some of those clouds can be light years wide, though the main one we pass through spirals in from the asteroid belt between Jupiter and Mars.
Our planet goes round the sun through a dust cloud called the zodiacal cloud. It's very tenuous, you wouldn't notice any dust if you were out there.
We've known about that cloud for over 300 years when Giovanni Cassini noticed a strange triangular light in the night sky being reflected through that cosmic dust. On Earth, dust particles tend to get worn down and rounded, buffeted around by the wind, but lunar dust and other extraterrestrial sources tend to be more jagged and could damage your lungs even if there were breathable air on the moon. So the next time you're grumbling while you're emptying the vacuum, just be glad you don't have to clean up all the dust in the vacuum of space or find a long enough extension cord. For this week's Moment of Science, I'm Dan Smith.
Yesterday, Canada wasn't the only country that was able to see the northern lights. We had quite the show all across the northern hemisphere last night. People as far south as Missouri got a chance to see the northern lights. It was quite the sight there. You can see some of these scenes, amazing footage. The National Weather Service in Duluth, Minnesota sharing this, confirming that the aurora borealis remained visible from last night into this morning. It was able to be seen from Indiana and as far as western New York. Conditions were favorable in this area for spotting the northern lights because of the increased solar activity. Of course, all those interactions with Earth's magnetosphere. That's when we see the aurora borealis. And speaking of space and the atmosphere, it's time for today's Weather 101. What causes seasons on Earth? Is it Earth's tilt, Earth's spin, the position of the sun, or the months of the year? Stay tuned. We will have the answer. And as we continue here on Weather Extra, well, we're still ahead on First Alert Weather Extra. We're going to be talking with meteorologist Matt Daniel and also Mickey Ferguson, talking about more on the wonderful weather that we're experiencing. We got some great weather photos. We're going to be talking about also that next chance for wet weather that's going to be coming up in our long-range forecast. But as we go to break, how about the weather almanac for today? Welcome back into First Alert Weather Extra. Well, the weather story as we move ahead, we're going to be watching a stalled system that's down in the Gulf of Mexico. We have a front here, and a low pressure system is going to take shape and start moving north later on this week. But it looks like that system is going to stay to the east of us. So as we look ahead by Saturday and Sunday, we might have a tropical system trying to form out here over the Atlantic. Again, we're going to be watching there off to the south. Right now, we're still very dry as we look at the setup here. As we go into this evening, the temperatures out there taking the tumble down into the 60s there through 9-10 o'clock. Maybe a few clouds in the mix later on, but no precipitation. There's tomorrow morning, light east-southeast wind. We'll see more of a southeast breeze tomorrow during the day. The wind changing directions there a little bit. We've been under a cool north flow, but more of a light southeast wind during the day. But starting out, there will still be some 50s around Weiss Lake, Gadsden, Aniana, Coleman. Once again tomorrow morning near the lakes and near the rivers, because we have these warmer afternoons, and as we cool off at night, there still could be some fog there, some of that steam fog lifting off the waterways early in the day. But afternoon, again, another sunshine afternoon with some a few clouds mixing in, but temperatures back into the 80s. So it is going to be another hot afternoon tomorrow, and temperatures actually the average for this time of the year, mid 80s. So we're not too far off from where we should be for this time of the year, but no rain expected. Again, a lot of wet weather to the west of Alabama, but it's not quite making it to our area. Again, next big thing, that system taking shape. You can see the global data picking up on this. Still in pretty good agreement that we at least will see a low pressure system here, a 30% chance for development as it moves north. Once that passes by, though, it will give way for a front to move in from the northwest, and that's what's going to bring us our next best chance for showers, which would be Monday night and into Tuesday of next week. So a first alert for that next chance of rain there into early next week, but still doesn't look like a major chance of rain, but that's our next best chance. Also, we still have Hurricane Nigel moving north. Notice there could be another system taking shape out over the Atlantic. 70% chance for development. Too soon to say where this is going. However, we will need to watch it as it moves on to the west there and tracks in our direction. Let's go ahead and show you the 7-day forecast. And again, as we head into the evening, more pleasant conditions out there tonight. Fall arriving on Saturday. We have dry weather for the weekend for all the college games Saturday. Looks like some great kickoff weather, just hot in the afternoon with highs in the 80s. And again, next week we'll have that chance for showers making a return. Now we head to meteorologist Matt Daniel and Mickey Ferguson, who bring you some of your pictures and let you know what to expect as you head to the bus stop in the morning.
Mickey.
Yes, sir.
This morning's weather was picture perfect.
It really was nice, and just took advantage of the nice weather. Gosh, isn't that great? It's just fantastic. It's getting like s'more weather.
Some fire pits.
You just want some more of it.
I see what you did there. But yeah, this was a picture submitted in of this morning's sunrise.
Rhonda Strickland, looking good over there.
Yeah, you know, nothing's better than just sitting outside with a cup of hot coffee and just enjoying that sunrise.
Oh my goodness, look at this. It dropped below 50 degrees.
What?
Old Golda Roach sent that in from the bird community. And I had somebody else on Facebook this morning sending that in that said it got down into the 40s this morning.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yep, and it's only September.
Yeah.
And we got our weather watchers. They gave us their reports.
They're watching the thermometer, and it got as low as 52 degrees in a couple of places in Lamar County. Tony McDonald, Sarah Porter and Oakman, Tyler Young and Trussville, 52 degrees.
That's right. Ronald Hughes, 53, and John King, 57, 58 in Moody. So a really nice, cool start. And, you know, our average low, Mickey, for this month is normally in the mid-60s, so we're a little bit below that. But I think over the next couple of mornings, we'll start to trend a little bit closer to average, but really can't complain as we finish out the month of September. But, you know, tomorrow, hopefully you'll tune in a good day, and we'll be tracking those temperatures, and it might be important to know what to prepare for getting ready for the day.
Yeah, just, you know, short sleeve shirts, things like that, but you might want to have maybe just a light jacket if you're prone to those cold temperatures bothering you. You might consider that, but you'll be able to shed those layers as we get into tomorrow afternoon.
That's right. Maybe grab a hat and sunglasses, too, because we're going to see some sunshine tomorrow.
So we're looking at highs tomorrow, a little bit warmer. Normal high for this time of the year is about 86 degrees, so we're getting closer to that, into the mid 80s. Tomorrow afternoon, the bus stop's looking pretty good. Not good enough for me to go back to school.
Yeah, I see what you did there. Now, hey, if you got those photos, just as what we saw earlier, sunrises, sunsets, we would love to see them. Just make sure you download the WBRC First Alert Weather app, and you can submit it. Give us your name, the location. We would love to share it right here on Weather Extra.
Stay cool, y'all.
Okay, the big question today, we ask what causes seasons on the Earth? Well, it is the Earth's tilt. You know, actually, Earth is closer to the sun in the summertime. It's all about how the northern hemisphere pivots away from the sun during this time of the year. And in fact, coming up this weekend, we reach the equinox early Saturday morning at 1:49 a.m., the autumnal equinox. So fall, the astronomical fall season certainly arrives this weekend. Well, temperature-wise, looks like we're going to stay close to average next few days. Again, as Mickey and Matt were noting there, we're going to have those highs in the 80s. We're going to be watching for that next chance of rain early next week and keeping an eye on a few systems in the tropics. So check the First Alert Weather app. We'll have plenty of updates posted there. You can find the latest tropical tracks. You can download the app for free by searching WBRC in your app store. And I'll be back tonight. We'll have the 7-day and more. That's all coming up first at 9. So be sure to join us later this evening. Enjoy this nice weather out there. Have a wonderful evening. I'll see you back here tonight at 9 o'clock.